Dusty, Chandler with the Houston Chronicle. When you got to spring training, you were pretty unclear as to what, if anything, you'd get from McCullers this season. I guess now that we're here, what have you made of just kind of the endurance and kind of the perseverance he's made to get to this point?
Well, I mean, nobody works harder, and very few have the determination that Lance has, and determination and drive. And I mean, like I said before, he loves to pitch, and he loves to pitch in pressurized situations and in big games, and so we feel very confident with Lance on the mound.
Go right in the middle with Adam here in the blue.
Thank you. Adam Winkler, ABC 13 out of Houston. Dusty, just want to ask you what the flight here was like. I know it was after 2 big wins. I think the families were with you guys. Can you kind of give us the mood of the team and what the trip was like?
There wasn't much noise. I mean, the guys were pretty subdued, and, it's a long flight. And you kind of see what the Mariners go through, all year, because all their flights are long flights. So there was a lot of sleeping. I didn't hear much noise. And we had a very, very nice plane that made it conducive, to sleep. And most of the families were, it was a large plane. And they were from the mid part back, I think. And I didn't hear anybody crying or, with all the kids on the plane, because it was past their bedtime. So it was a nice flight.
Go in the middle in the front row with Brian.
You've got some pitchers who haven't pitched yet in this series after a big layoff. Just how do you think they've approached this layoff, and is there some uncertainty, what you're going to get from maybe some of those guys when they pitch Stanek and then Urquidy and Garcia if they get in there?
Well, I mean, you can't pitch everybody. You're trying to pitch guys where they were most likely, have success for them and us. We'd like to get them in there, but this is a situation where you like use your leverage guys. I mean, which made it tough to get some of these guys in there is the fact that who they had, predominantly left-handed lineup. If certain guys are better against right or left, and also the fact that we had one day off day, one day another off day, and that's what kind of makes it tough on getting guys from work. You hope that they will stay sharp, throwing pins, throwing on the side, and which is probably evident of like Presley yesterday, and I can't emphasize enough. Sometimes these layoffs are great, but sometimes they're not so good for guys to stay sharp.
Going to the far left in the front row.
Plus they've only used a couple guys out of their bullpens too, so.
I'm sorry, Dusty. You won't turn off.
Come outside.
That girl's she's having a good time.
Randy McElroy from KPRC Channel 2 in Houston. Dusty, with the playoffs and the pressure that goes with that, especially for young guys, how pleased have you been with specifically a guy like Jeremy Pena these first couple of games, the way he's handled the bat and defensively?
Well, once the game starts, it's the same baseball. I mean, you can let pressure get to you if you want to, but it really serves no purpose. And so, like I've said before, he who relaxes the most is the most determined, and concentrates the most is the ones that usually have success. So, we're not counting it as success yet until after this series is over, and then we'll start a new series, hopefully.
Go in the front row with Mark.
Dusty, Mark Berman from Fox in Houston. If you could reiterate the significance of having Lance for the postseason, given what you told us a few days ago, that you felt like if you'd had Lance in the postseason last year, you might be world champions.
Right. Well, that's just, my opinion. Like I said, it was very, it was a downer when we lost Lance, and hopefully Lance can be, Lance, and there's something to be said about a guy that's been there before. And so we're just, like I said, hope that Lance is sharp and Lance is Lance.
Go in the middle in the back, Dusty.
Yes.
Kennedy Landry, MLB.com. Dusty, with Gurriel, I know he struggled a little bit throughout the regular season, but he's off to a good start here in the postseason. How important is it for him to have a good postseason stretch for the success of this team?
Well, I mean, it's important for not only him, but it's important for us because we depend on him big time. And in my mind, he saved a bunch of runs yesterday's game at first base. That's one constant that he's always had you taken for granted on how he plays first base. But he has a lot of pride in hitting. I mean, he's hitting Cuba, he's hitting the world, he's hitting Japan, he's hit the United States, he's hit everywhere, he's been. This is the first down year he's had. And so, I always had faith in the fact that, he's still going to hit. And Water Seeker's on level. It's nice to see him turning around, velocity. And because that's the first thing that people say when you don't turn around velocity is that you're getting old and your reaction are getting old. And so a lot of that's a state of mind, and we need him. We need him, very badly. He's in the heart of the lineup. He's a contact guy, and like I said, we were all kind of waiting on this to happen.
Go in the middle on the right with Chandler. Dusty, do you know what you'll do in center field tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll go with McCormick in center field tomorrow.
Go up here in the front row, or actually Adam there. Go ahead.
Dusty, we've heard the guys at home talk to us about how they kind of feed off the energy of the crowd at Minute Maid. You guys are certainly no stranger to hostile environments. Can you kind of talk us through what a crowd does, maybe what a home field advantage can do, as your home or visitor like you will be tomorrow for the first time in a while?
Well, at home, most of the people in your home are for you, and they're giving you positive energy, and on the road, they're sending you a lot of negative energy. But you have to turn that around and in the form of concentration. And I mean, this team has gone through a lot of negativity on the road the last 3 years. And the one thing that I urged this team in spring training was to try to be the best road team in the league. I mean, that's big. And also be, the best getaway day team in that all-important third or fourth game on the road, and also to be a good daytime team, which we've accomplished all those, and hopefully we can continue that trend.
Go in the front row here with Chris.
Dusty, that same realm, does it help you guys at all, familiarity with having played here so much that you kind of know what you're walking into, familiarity with everything here because you come here so often?
Yeah, well, that helps. It helps, to know the field, help to know, the possible caroms, the predominant way the wind blows. But, I mean, this is fall. So it's a little bit different now than spring and summer. And, things change, sight lines change. The sun's setting later, because we came here a couple months ago and it was like 6, 7 o'clock, and it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We're so far north that, we don't know how the shadows are gonna affect us. That's why we're out here today to practice.
Go in the back on the left, Dusty.
Dusty, you have a lot of guys like Altuve, Bregman, Gurriel, who have been doing this for years now, but then you have someone like David Hensley, who everything's new to him, and he's obviously appeared in both games and had a key at bat in game one. What's it like when you have someone that new to everything and he's contributing and experiencing? What have you seen for him so far since he's been with the ball club?
Well, I mean, he's highly competitive. He's not afraid. He's kind of like young kid that don't know what to be afraid of yet. You know what I mean? And plus he's, you know, the younger players don't have any negative occurrences to remind them of anything, you know? I mean, sometimes you have to refrain from going back to 92 or what happened in 2002 or to what happened, and you got to get rid of those things in your mind, and those kids don't have any negatives yet or failures to, you know, to remind them.
Go in the front row, Brian.
Do you have any other lineup previews you want to share?
Pardon?
Do you have any other lineup stuff you want to share?
Not really. I mean, you got anything in particular?
Oh, like DH, maybe, just what do you do at DH? So you've had two different guys at DH after 2 games?
Yeah, and I'll have. How come you just didn't say that in the beginning?
Didn't want to pigeonhole you in one spot.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. No, I'm a DH Mancini tomorrow, you know. I mean, he has seen the pitcher of record tomorrow, which helps him, you know. Very few of us have seen him. I'm not sure, I think he has 4 or 5 at-bats against him, which is better than nothing.
Go 2 more. We'll go on the far left over here.
Shane Lance, Seattle Times. Touching on earlier, you mentioned the energy on the road that you guys have had, but coming into this too with this home crowd tomorrow, having their first home playoff game in 21 years, how much of a factor do you think that energy and that excitement is going to be in the game tomorrow?
For them or for us?
For both teams, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody likes playing at home, but also this team, like I said, I don't know what our record was, like 42 and something on the road or something like that. I mean, somebody correct me if I'm wrong. What was it?
151 games.
And that's a lot of games. That's a lot of games to, you know, to draw upon. And so we have to just play our game. You can't really worry about where you are, you know. And it's going to be exciting. I know this town's excited. I got people that are excited about it, or some people that are disappointed to this point.
All right, we'll go 1 more in the back middle there.
Dusty, you mentioned Mancini. He's had probably some bad luck at the plate. I mean, he's hit a lot of hard balls that have been outs, but he's obviously, the numbers haven't been there in the recent weeks. What have you seen from him at the plate and how he's handling all this and trying to find his way through a bit of a slump?
Well, I mean, you hope that, you know, again, you know, you get rid of the negatives that are bombarding you in your mind, and just like I tell my son, you're 1 at bat away from a hot streak, you know, and this is how you gotta look at it, you know. And if you keep counting, I'm 0 for 20, and guess what? You can go 0 for 21. And I've seen guys that I played with, you know, that would hit 4 line drives at somebody, and they say, man, I'm gonna see who I can hit this line drive to, and invariably they hit it to somebody else. And so, like, I tell these guys, like, I tell them all. I mean, like Luke Appling, who was like one of my coaches with the Braves, he used to tell me, you know, Dusty, to be lucky, you gotta think lucky, and I believe that.